Welcome back, America. We're with Michael Oren, former Israeli ambassador to the United States. Mr. Ambassador, it has been said that Israel has an influence campaign running in the United States, mostly with Jews, of course, to undermine the Memorandum of Understanding. And it occurs to me, Mr. Ambassador, that Iran has undermined the Memorandum of Understanding, that it was never going to adhere to a Memorandum of Understanding. In fact, it never adhered to anything. And this has nothing to do with Jews or Israel or an influence campaign. What is your take on that?
Well, of course not, Mark. It's always good to be with you, first of all. The campaign, as far as I understand it, was designed to remind young conservatives of the importance of Israel and the U.S. Israel alliance. That's a perfectly legitimate aspiration and goal for any PR campaign. And that campaign has to contrast certainly better than the massive campaigns mounted by the Qataris, by the Chinese, to truly undermine American policy, to promote Islamic extremism in the United States. I mean, really, if you're going to pick a fight with the Qataris. And leave Israel and the Jews out of it. This is a perfectly legitimate understanding and undertaking for an Israeli PR initiative. As for the MOU was never going to be honored by the Iranians. The Iranians have never honored any agreement. You find me an agreement in history that they have honored. I can maybe give the administration high marks for trying. You get sort of an E for effort. But to come out and say that they're basically good guys, they're rational guys, they're practical guys, you are dealing with a completely different animal. And the Iranians have proven throughout history, this regime has proved throughout history, that they will not abide by any agreement. And to think otherwise is purely delusional.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Let me ask you this. We saw the vote last week on cutting off aid, quote unquote, to Israel. You had one Republican, Massey. Every other Republican voted against cutting off support, including for the Iron Dome. And you had about half the Democrats who voted for it. Do you see this growing hatred and anti-Semitism in the Democrat Party as it opens its doors to these Marxists and Islamists and radicals and so forth and so on? That's got to be concerning to you.
It is very concerning to me. The issue of America's policy toward Israel is no longer a foreign policy Israel for these people. It's an ideological issue. It's a cultural issue. You know, Mark, I watched the photographs of the Democrats who voted for this bill coming out and celebrating on the steps of Capitol Hill. And I thought it curious, to say the least, that these representatives were celebrating the fact that they've now rendered their children and grandchildren less safe. The United States has one ally in the world that's willing to fight. It's willing to fight shoulder to shoulder with the United States on a level of technological and military prowess, which is equal to that of the United States, certainly, given our small size. And anybody who would want to in any way, impair, to reduce the power of that alliance is simply harming the security of the United States of America. And there's no strategic argument for that. It's purely ideological. So for ideological reasons, these representatives in Congress are willing to endanger the security of the United States of America. And someone has to call them out on that. And the fact that they were on those steps of the Capitol celebrating, I thought that was nothing short of hideous.
You know, in this country, we rightly complain about our NATO allies, how they don't step up, how they didn't step up in dealing with Iran, how they don't properly fund their militaries, they don't do their part where we have to carry all the weight. You certainly can't say that about Israel. They do more than their part. They spend an enormous amount, you all do, on the of your GDP, on military technology, on intelligence, and you share all that information with the United States, don't you?
We do, and I think you should go. Those Democrats who voted for this thing, or Massey, I understand he lost his bid for re-election, so he's not going to be in the next Congress. But those representatives who did vote for this should go to the Pentagon and ask them what they think. Do they think that they should that aid to Israel should be cut off, and they should go to the people who actually make the military hardware that is purchased with American military aid, because all of that military aid is spent in the United States. And tens of thousands of Americans own their jobs to those aides. Those representatives should go to those people who are now going to lose their jobs and explain why they're unemployed.
And it's obvious that Israel also is not blind to what's taking place. You're building alliances, I see, with a bunch of countries in our hemisphere, several countries in Europe, with India, and so forth and so on. And you have a number of these advanced economies, advanced countries that are seeking hardware and know-how from you folks. So I think that the Democrats and these isolationists in our country are making a grave, grave mistake for our national security.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.